In the summer of 2011, Manchester United faced one of their biggest challenges of the post-Schmeichel era, replacing Edwin van der Sar. Rumours swirled all season long, and one name kept rising to the top: David De Gea, a wiry, sharp reflex shot stopper from Atlético Madrid, just 20 years old. Sir Alex Ferguson hinted at a done deal after Gary Neville's testimonial in May, but De Gea's camp stayed tight-lipped. He wanted to focus on Spain's Under-21 Euros campaign first, which, by the way, he won. Not long after the final, De Gea was spotted in Manchester for a medical. By the end of June, the move was official. United had then new number one, signing a Spaniard for a then record £18.9 million fee. The comparison started straight away. He grew up idolising Peter Schmeichel, and now he was being dubbed as Van de Gea. His first appearance came in the friendly against Chicago Fire, but the real test arrived in the Community Shield a month later. A dramatic 3-2 win over City masked some early nerves. He was beaten by a Lescott header and a long-range strike from Dzeko. A week later, he made his Premier League debut against West Brom. Another shaky moment, another goal conceded. But Ferguson wasn't panicking. It's a learning process, he said. Soon the tide began to turn. He kept a clean sheet on his Old Trafford debut, then saved a Robin van Persie penalty against Arsenal in an 8-2 demolition. Wayne Rooney publicly backed him, calling him a strong character. Big saves followed at Stoke, against Chelsea, at Anfield. Even Kenny Dalglish had to laugh off the criticism, saying, "I thought the press said the boy was struggling." Then came the lows: a 6-1 hammering by City, a costly flap against Blackburn. Questions returned, and he was dropped in favour of Anders Lindegaard. But football moves quickly. Lindegaard picked up an injury, De Gea was back in for a huge game at Stamford Bridge, and that's when something changed. A last-minute save from Juan Mata kept United alive in a wild 3-3 draw. De Gea later called it the turning point of his season. He started the final 19 matches, kept 8 clean sheets, and looked every bit the keeper United had paid for. Reflecting on that first season, De Gea admitted that the pressure had been intense. "There were doubts, yes, but I've always believed in myself," he said. And while the competition with Lindegaard remained fierce, it was clear who was pulling ahead. Behind the quiet confidence and soft-spoken interviews, De Gea had shown the grit required to survive at Manchester United. But surviving was just the beginning. The 2012-2013 season began with another test. Having featured in Spain's Olympic squad, De Gea missed United's pre-season, but returned between the posts for the Premier League opener at Everton. Despite pulling off a string of impressive saves, United lost 1-0. Back at Old Trafford a week later, he showed sharp reflexes again in a 3-2 win over Fulham. Though a miscommunication with Nemanja Vidic led to a no goal, the small errors lingered, but so did the saves. In December, De Gea stood tall in the Manchester derby, denying Tevez and Silva as United clinched a dramatic 3-2 win. He followed it up with more crucial stop against Sunderland, but in January the criticism returned, this time from Gary Neville. A late punch under pressure at Spurs allowed Tottenham a stoppage time equaliser. Neville didn't hold back, saying, "Playing well for 92 minutes doesn't count if you slip up in the 93rd. Sir Alex Ferguson defended his man, calling the critics idiots. A few weeks later, De Gea silenced most of them with a composed, commanding display away at Real Madrid. A 1-0 draw at the Bernabeu, a breakout performance. Excellent, said Ferguson. Come of age, said the press. De Gea finished the season strong. Clean sheets against QPR, Norwich and Reading followed. Even a flying elbow from Andy Carroll couldn't shake him, much to Ferguson's disbelief at the lack of punishment. The Spaniard's form earned him a place in the PFA Team of the Year, and more importantly, his first Premier League winners' medal. He made 28 appearances, kept 11 clean sheets, and ended the campaign as one of United's most consistent performers. No longer the new kid learning the ropes, he was now the club's first-choice keeper. The following season started with a clean sheet at Wembley, as United beat Wigan to lift the Community Shield. Under new boss David Moyes, the pressure was different, but De Gea stayed focused. In October 2013, he pulled off one of the saves of the season, tipping a bullet header from Sunderland's forward wide, a stop Peter Schmeichel called one of the best ever seen in the Premier League. Moyes called it a turning point. United had trailed 1-0, but came back to win 2-1. That winter, De Gea made his 100th appearance for the club. He was now a veteran at the age of just 23, but mistakes still happened. In a League Cup semi-final against Sunderland, he let a soft Phil Barsley shot slip through. Javier Hernandez saved United with a late goal, but in the penalty shootout that followed, De Gea's saves weren't enough to stop the defeat. Then came a Champions League tie with Olympiacos and another De Gea highlight reel. With United trailing 2-0 from the first leg, he made a double save just before half-time in the return leg that defied belief. United went on to win the tie 3-2 on aggregate. It was a defining night. By the season's end, there was no debate. He was voted both Players' Player and Fans' Player of the Year, the first goalkeeper to sweep both awards since Michael. The 2014-15 season marked the start of the Louis van Gaal era at United and De Gea's elevation to one of the world's best. A standout performance against Everton in October, including a penalty save from Leighton Baines, set the tone. It was the first time Baines had ever missed from the spot in the Premier League. United held on for a 2-1 win and De Gea was voted man of the match. That form continued and October ended with De Gea named Player of the Month, and in December he delivered perhaps his finest performance in a United shirt, 8 saves in a 3-0 win over Liverpool. Van Gaal was glowing in his praise, calling him unbelievable. The press dubbed him United's saving grace. With the team finding its feet under Van Gaal, De Gea was the one constant. Transfer rumours swirled, but he remained professional. "I'm proud to play for Manchester United," he said. Legends like Schmeichel and Neville urged him to sign a new deal. By the end of the season, De Gea was shortlisted for both the PFA Players Player and Young Player of the Year awards. He didn't win either. Eden Hazard and Harry Kane took the honours, but he did make the PFA Team of the Year again and was United's only representative. Once again, he took home both the Fans and Players Player of the Year awards back to back. His save against Everton was voted the best of the season by Match of the Day, another trophy for the shelf, another season of brilliance. De Gea's 2015-16 season began in chaos. With his future uncertain, Louis van Gaal left him out of the opener against Spurs, claiming De Gea had asked not to play. De Gea denied it, but trained with the reserves as a move to Real Madrid loomed. On deadline day, a £29 million deal was agreed, including Keylor Navas heading the other way, but the paperwork missed the Spanish deadline by minutes and the deal collapsed. Just over a week later, De Gea signed a new 4-year contract with United. He was quickly back in the side and even captained the team briefly in a League Cup win over Ipswich. In April, he was named in the PFA Team of the Year, the only United player to make the cut. He saved a penalty from Romelu Lukaku in the FA Cup semi-final against Everton and narrowly missed out on the Golden Glove after the last day on goal by Chris Smalling. Still, he made history by becoming the first United player to win United's Player of the Year award 3 seasons in a row. Under Jose Mourinho, De Gea won the Community Shield and started the league strongly with 2 clean sheets in his first 3 games. He suffered a low point in a 4-0 defeat to Chelsea, but bounced back to play a key role in a season where United won 3 trophies. Although Sergio Romero was preferred in the Europa League final, De Gea collected a winner's medal as United beat Ajax 2-0. He was named in the PFA Team of the Year for the 4th time and continues to be United's most reliable presence. De Gea began the following season with his 100th clean sheet for the club and continued to impress. In a 3-1 win over Arsenal in December, he made 14 saves, equalling the Premier League record for most in a single match, and was awarded Man of the Match. He was once again named in the PFA Team of the Year, the 5th time in 6 seasons, and finally got his hand on the Premier League Golden Glove with 18 clean sheets. A dominant season for a keeper still in his prime. But things started to unravel. De Gea kept just 5 clean sheets in his first 25 games, and despite an heroic 11-save performance against Spurs in January, his confidence looked shaky by spring. He reached 100 Premier League clean sheets in February, only the second United keeper to do so after Schmeichel, but the season ended poorly. Mistakes crept in against Arsenal, Barcelona, Everton, City and Chelsea, and he finished with just 7 clean sheets in the league, his lowest tally in his United career so far. De Gea began his 9th season as United's number 1, but the inconsistency from the previous season lingered. Despite some standout moments, errors returned, notably against Watford and Everton, prompting questions about his long-term place. Still, he started every Premier League game and became the fastest United goalkeeper to reach 100 clean sheets in all competitions. United finished 3rd, and De Gea's experience played a role in steadying a young, reshaping team. But it was clear his invincibility had worn off, and for the first time, there were rumours about real competition for his spot. With Dean Henderson returning from a strong loan spell at Sheffield United, the pressure was on. De Gea started as first choice, but by spring, he and Henderson were effectively sharing the job. After missing time due to personal reasons, De Gea struggled to win the shirt back consistently. His biggest moment came in the Europa League final against Villarreal, but for all the wrong reasons. After 120 minutes and 21 perfect penalties, De Gea's miss in the shootout handed the trophy to the Spanish side. It was a brutal end to a mixed season. If the previous year raised doubts, this one felt like a comeback. De Gea was United's standout player through months of dysfunction under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and interim boss Ralf Rangnick. He made key saves week after week, often keeping United in games they had no right to be in. He won the club's Player of the Year award and was widely seen as the team's most consistent performer, a return to form that reminded fans why he'd been so highly rated for so long. Under Erik ten Hag, De Gea stayed as number 1 and helped United secure a top 4 finish and win the League Cup, his first domestic trophy since 2017. He led the Premier League in clean sheets with 17, earning the Golden Glove. But questions around his distribution and suitability for ten Hag's playing style intensified. Costly errors against Seville and West Ham stood out. In the FA Cup final against City, he was beaten too easily by AK Gundogan's volley. Despite winning the Golden Glove, his contract wasn't renewed. After 545 appearances and 190 clean sheets, both club records for a goalkeeper, David De Gea left Manchester United in July 2023. A quiet goodbye for a player who, at his peak, was amongst the world's best and whose loyalty spanned one of the most turbulent decades in the club's history. David De Gea came as a skinny kid, left as a club legend. He saved United more times than anyone could count. Even when the defence vanished, he didn't. 11 seasons, 4 Players of the Year awards, 1 Premier League title, and a highlight reel that'll live forever. No farewell, no fuss, just gone. But you don't need a send-off when your legacy is written in saves. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and hit the bell for more United content if you've enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching.